The world is full of dangerous places that are best avoided if you have any sense. Yet there are those who cannot resist exploring every nook and cranny of this planet. Some of these people survive their expeditions and go on to tell the tale, while others vanish without a trace. Here are some cursed kingdoms you should never visit. The first one is an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean where at least 20 ships have been lost. It's known as the Bermuda Triangle, a region between Florida, Cuba, and Puerto Rico, but its exact boundaries are not defined. This makes it difficult for experts to study. Many theories attempt to explain why so many vessels and aircraft disappear within it. These include human error, mechanical problems, weather, navigational errors, pirates, or even alien abduction. One of the most famous incidents occurred in December of 1945 when 29 aircraft vanished during the Flight 19 mission. They were all experienced pilots, and none of them had any mechanical issues. After they disappeared, the U.S. Navy organized a search operation involving 60 ships and over 140 aircraft. But nothing was found. Even stranger, there have been no confirmed sightings of any of the men since. Next is the Danakil Depression in northwest Ethiopia. It's a harsh volcanic desert with extreme temperatures, active volcanoes, poisonous gases, and salt flats. In January of 2016, trucks carrying sulfur from the area to a port for export became trapped in the mud. The drivers abandoned the vehicles and walked away, but 2 of them died from exposure to the toxic gases. One of the scariest forbidden forests is located near Toulouse, France. It's called the Forest of Brother, and it's covered in thousands of weird mushroom-shaped rocks. They're actually a rare geological formation created by silica deposits and hot springs over millions of years. Despite the beauty of the forest, no one is allowed to enter it, and that's because the French government considers it a dangerous place. This is due to the forest having a history of claiming lives. A young woman named Manon Riffaud was one of the victims. She went missing in the forest in 2003 and her body was never recovered. Although the authorities did find her car, a strange circular depression on the roof, which looked like it could have been caused by a meteorite impact. In 2017, researchers returned to the forest to recreate how Manon might have died. They discovered that if she had stood on one of the formations and a rock fell, it would have been enough to kill her. Another cursed kingdom is the island of Surtsey, located off the coast of Greece. It's an uninhabited volcanic island that hasn't seen any humans live there permanently since the 1950s. It was once home to a large population of goats, but they all died in 1950 when the volcano erupted. No other animals or plants have been able to survive since. This has made it the perfect place for scientists to study what happens to an ecosystem after a major volcanic eruption. Scientists have been monitoring the island for decades. For example, in 2011, researchers collected soil samples to determine if any microorganisms had repopulated the land. They found a total of 6 bacteria, 4 of which had never before been documented. These were named Cerestia volcanilacustri, Cerestia subterranea, Cerestia sediminis, and Cerestia fumarolica. Now, we'll look at a town in the Philippines that's apparently cursed. Batanes is a group of islands located north of the country's Luzon Island. According to legend, it was originally inhabited by an advanced race of people, but they mysteriously vanished. Then around 800 years ago, migrants from what is now Taiwan arrived. The natives they encountered were short, dark-skinned pygmies who lived in caves and were expert hunters. The migrants taught the natives how to farm and fish with nets. Over time, the 2 groups interbred. The modern Bataks are descendants of both races. One theory is that the original inhabitants went extinct due to interbreeding. Another explanation is that they were wiped out by an epidemic brought to the islands by the migrating Taiwans. What's interesting about this is that many parts of the world have legends of small, dark-skinned people living in remote areas. Some claim they are the descendants of hobbits. Unfortunately, there's no evidence that any such creatures ever existed. Instead, many scientists believe they were real people with dwarfism. There have also been reports of dwarfish people in North America, Australia, Africa, and Asia. However, there have been no confirmed sightings in recent years. The next Forbidden Kingdom is an uninhabited island in the Indian Ocean. It's called Amsterdam Island, and it's part of the French southern and Antarctic lands. The island is almost entirely underwater, and only a small portion rises above sea level. Even this small portion is incredibly dangerous. It features steep cliffs, strong currents, and waves. As a result, no ships dare come near it. The island was first sighted by the Portuguese in 1510, but it wasn't explored until 1793. That year, a British naval officer named Captain James Cook landed on the island. He noted that it was covered in debris from a ship that had wrecked nearby. It seems likely this is how Cook came to name the island after Amsterdam, perhaps believing it was close to the coast of the Netherlands. In reality, it's closer to Madagascar. Now let's look at a cave system in the United States that's considered to be cursed. Mammoth Cave is located in Kentucky and is the longest cave system in the world. Its total length is more than 420 miles, though new passages are discovered regularly, so this number will continue to increase. Because the cave system is so vast, it's easy to get lost in. This has happened to numerous explorers, resulting in some of them dying. In 1972, Stephen Bishop was exploring the cave with Floyd Collins. They became separated, and Stephen didn't realize this for 3 days. He had to survive by eating bats and drinking urine. Eventually, he found his way out of the cave. But sadly, Floyd was never found. His skeleton was discovered in 1992. Then, in 1981, another explorer got lost and died. His name was John Archie. Like Stephen Bishop, he resorted to eating bats to stay alive. But unfortunately, he was unable to escape. His body remains trapped inside the cave. So far, all the Forbidden Kingdoms we've looked at are physically dangerous, but there are some that are cursed for other reasons. One such kingdom is the Kingdom of Auschwitz. It's located in southern Poland and was originally established in 1277. At one point, it was one of the largest cities in the region, but in 1940, Nazi Germany occupied it and turned it into a concentration camp. Auschwitz became synonymous with death and suffering. Over 1.1 million people were murdered there. It was finally liberated by the Soviets in 1945. Since then, there have been numerous efforts to rid the site of its dark history. However, some believe the area is still cursed. The next cursed kingdom is the medieval city of Pompeii. It's located in Italy and was once home to around 11,000 people. Then, in 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted. This buried the city in ash and pumice and killed everyone. Archaeologists have since excavated much of the city, and it's now a popular tourist destination. Still, there are some who believe the city is cursed. This is due to the fact that several archaeologists have died there under mysterious circumstances. For example, in 1794, an engineer named Rocky died while excavating the Porta Stabia Gate. Then, in 1805, the scientist Joseph Fontani also passed away during excavations. There have been other instances of workers dying unexpectedly. While no one knows if Pompeii is cursed, it seems wise to be careful there. After all, there are still parts of the city that haven't been fully explored. Finally, let's look at an uninhabited island in the Caribbean Sea. It's known as Little St. James Island and is located near the U.S. Virgin Islands. It was purchased in 1996 by convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He used it as a private playground where he abused underage girls. Epstein committed suicide in prison in 2019. His island was then transferred to the Danish government. The island is technically uninhabited, but many believe it's cursed. Now, it's time to make your voice heard. Comment below which of these cursed kingdoms you'd be most afraid to explore.